G'day guys, we're down here with Mike Bishop and the Inspire 2. Mike, how's it going, dude?
Good, man.
This is great, guys. I'm extremely excited to have been able to fly this with you, Mike. Last 2 days, where have we been, dude?
Yeah, we went on an epic road trip through the desert for 3 days and hit some incredible locations and got to test this thing out like really thoroughly, and high winds, and tested on high speeds, high action. Yeah, we had a good shoot, and I gotta say, I'm really impressed with this thing.
In DJI, I've really stepped it up. The camera in those high winds was incredibly stable, Mike.
Yeah, it went really good.
I was really impressed. So let's dive into the camera and some of those new features that we want to see. So we've got an improved micro four thirds sensor, 20.8 megapixel stills, 12.8 stops of dynamic range. That's insane.
Yeah, the specs are really good on this. I mean, we got 4K 60 now, which is a big spec to be able to shoot raw in, especially, and then 5K, that's a pretty next level thing to have on a drone for sure.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, some
else?
of these different codec files, Cinema DNG, we got Apple ProRes.
Yeah, ProRes is a big one for sure, because the editing workflow with ProRes is just so smooth. Like, straight from the camera to editing, the footage is gonna look beautiful. And yeah, one of the other things I like about this too is the options you have with your codecs and your frame rates and your frame sizes. Like, while you're in the air, you know, you can go from 5K to 4K 60, and then you can crop in a little bit as well, so you don't need to change lenses all the time to get a different focal length. You can do that through the app, and it kind of punches in on the footage.
Yeah.
And you can do that on the fly, so I found that really nice. Yeah.
It's insane to be able to get 5K now out of that sensor size. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
so
really cool. And I mean, 5K and this thing goes at like 60 miles an hour or something like that. So like those two things together, you can get incredible footage that was really not possible before this came out, I don't think.
yeah,
I mean,
it goes fast. It goes really fast.
Another feature that I really liked on this thing is that the camera over rotates now, so you can film downwards but behind you. So many times I'm sure a lot of people have encountered this when you're, you know, panning down to follow a subject, shot's looking good, and then it hits the end and there's an abrupt stop and your shot's kind of ruined. And one thing on this, I was doing that shot, and then I got down, I was like, okay, this thing's gonna stop. My shot's gonna get messed up soon. And then it kept going, and over rotating, it didn't mess up the shot. So, and it also spins 360, so, you know, probably a lot of dual operators are gonna rejoice at that. So the fact that, you know, the camera rotates that much more, you're gonna have more useful shots.
Another great thing about the Inspire 2, Mike, is some of these intelligent flight modes that it didn't previously have that the Phantom 4 had.
Right.
So we've now got tap fly and active track. We used active track on those riders out there on the desert, and it just took them and it just tracked them. It just follows straight away, so you can really, the drone does the work, and you got the sensors, so you got that peace of mind, it's not gonna crash. So that's really impressive now that these smart features are incorporated into the Inspire 2 now, which is what we want.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the range on this thing.
Yeah, 4.3 miles, 7 kilometers, so it's got a huge range. You can fly this thing really far.
Yeah, I mean, the range has always been impressive with the light bridge, but it just keeps getting more refined and even further.
Yeah.
Again, we talk
line of sight, like obviously if you fly behind something, that cuts down the range drastically, but you know, if you lose signal, and it's got the sensors now, so if it returns to home, you're not going to hit anything, so you've got that peace of mind as well. But it's got a really good range for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is great for shooting landscapes and stuff when you really want to get a shot that looks like a helicopter or something like that, where you're just like punching at full speed for, you know, out there way far.
Yeah. Let's get the Inspire X5 up here for a bit of a comparison. So I know all of you guys have been asking, what's the size difference? Automatically, you can see how much bigger the motors are. They're massive, you know, they look almost double in thickness. Much more powerful, Mike.
Yeah, much more powerful.
And the height, what would you say that's about an inch?
Yeah, maybe about an inch.
An inch.
Higher.
And on the width, we've also got an inch longer, so we're a bit bigger of an aircraft. It's obviously going to be heavier, it's bigger. We've got the dual battery system now. I'm not sure exactly on the specific weight.
You can see maybe
but it's a noticeable weight difference.
Yeah, I mean, this thing is just so solid. Like the weight difference, it just feels more stable and more solid in the air. Like it holds its position really well in high winds and stuff. Like I found on this, there was a bit more drift going on. Like when I was flying it, I'd always want to keep like a decent radius because it had a bit more movement, and this thing, it just is rock solid.
We'll cut to some of this footage now. We did a couple of tests side by side with the X5R and the Inspire 2, and the wind gusts were up around 40, 50 miles an hour. Like they were really gusting.
Yeah.
And this thing was not coping. It was drifting. It was really using a lot of power just to try and stay on track. I couldn't go as far as you, Mike.
Yeah, I mean this, like the weight of this and the motors not being as strong and the battery life, like it was a no contest when flying against this thing.
Let's talk about the speed test, the race that we did between these two. Where were we?
Right, we were at the Salton Sea, Bombay Beach, and it was just a big open stretch of beach, and we took these both up to have a race to really see, you know, how much faster this is than the Inspire one.
We'll put the footage up now while we're talking about it. It was really impressive to see how fast this thing was in sport mode. I mean, it just took off, and it was a no contest.
Yeah, this guy got left in the dust for sure. And I mean, that being able to go that fast on this is such a huge thing, because a lot of times you want to fly out to where you're going like really fast, and you know, with this you kind of didn't have that option at all. You had one speed and it wasn't as fast. So now you can, you know, turn this thing into sport mode and really punch it on that, get out to places.
Yeah, on that note, let's put this back down over here. Let's talk about going out to the sand dunes now, and again, we'll overlay this footage while we're talking about it. We were shooting those guys on the motorbikes and the quad bikes out there in the dunes. It was insane. You just gunned it, and they were going like 30, 40, 50 miles.
These guys were flying over these sand dunes, just ripping, and I could keep up with them no problem on this in sport mode. I mean, I was going full throttle, but I had full control and just like felt really comfortable trusting that this thing was going to be able to keep up, and you know, it wasn't going to drift. It was impressive, you know, with filming those guys.
And that's what a lot of people are going to buy this for when you're in a professional aspect. You wanted to go that extra bit fast to keep up with a car commercial or a motocross guy. The Inspire 1 just couldn't do it. Didn't have enough juice.
Yeah, I think that's honestly what I like about this the most. Like the quality is impeccable, but being able to fly really fast makes it a lot of fun to use.
Yeah, so once I reviewed the footage, this gimbal has been completely, redesigned. It was so stable in that wind. Usually you get a little bit of shake in the old X5.
Yeah, you can sometimes see a little bit of warble going on, but I didn't notice that with this at all.
So yeah, this gimbal's been redefined, and that's rock solid in really high winds, especially in that sport mode going really fast. There's more pressure on the gimbal, and the whole thing's been re-engineered, but the camera and the gimbal is probably one of the most important things to have stable. It's what we all want. We don't want to be using that post-production stabilization software. It's just
ideally not.
So this thing is amazing. So to wrap things up, guys, on the Inspire 2, let's just go over a few pros and cons to keep it fair. Mike, if people have bought the X5R, they're going to be a little disappointed with the SSD cards not...
Right, there's no parts that work for both machines, so you're going to have to buy new batteries, new SSD cards, new props. But I mean, it's understandable. This thing's such a different machine, even though it looks the same. I mean, it's completely different.
This thing's had a
and it feels different too. When you use it, you're like, okay, this feels it feels better.
It's had a massive overhaul. It's heavier. The motors are bigger, the batteries, last longer, it's more stable in high winds, all these things we've talked about. I've come up with a shopping list of what I'd buy for a professional setup. I'll put that list on the screen for you guys right now, but my shopping list came to about $9,500 to get a fully operational
Yeah, you're going to be looking at about that much for a full setup that you're going to be comfortable taking on shoots and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
And that's without the remote focus, so that's going to go up even more. So if you're going to get the focus stuff, it's going to be up over that $10,000 mark. But again, this is a really high professional platform. The next best thing from this is like a Free Flight Systems,
Or a matrice, maybe it would be.
Or a matrice.
Option, but those are such bigger systems though. They're substantially larger. So.
And those systems get more complicated. This is fully integrated, plug and play. It's quite easy to operate, you know, out of the box.
Yeah, it's refined. It's very, you know, been refined a lot.
Yeah, so and you are going to need at least 5 sets of batteries for, you know, to have a decent sort of operation, you know.
So you're not stressing out while you're shooting about your batteries.
So, sure. You know, as you'll see on my list, you know, I think the batteries are $159 each. So you're up over $300 for one pair of batteries. So batteries, you can never have enough. You're also going to need to buy an extra controller. Everything's an extra, but you know, to get this kind of platform still for under $10,000 and get that quality, when I first got into this, I think it cost me about $25,000, and that was without a camera. So we're still 15 grand from like 4 years ago.
Yeah, so when you think about it, it is actually, you know, the value is all kind of justified with the quality, you know, 5K raw, the flight time, the system. If you compared it to anything else, there's nothing else out there that you could meet those specs with without spending $20,000 or something. Yeah. So even though it seems expensive, what you're getting out of that price is substantial.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, that next jump up is really bigger aircraft, and then holding the red cameras, and it just gets, you're talking 3-4, you know, operating crews. It gets a lot more advanced.
Yeah,
but
so you're getting pretty much that and more
in a small compact unit. But yeah, it really is a breathtaking machine, again, to take an already amazing platform in the Inspire 1 and make it better. With all these features we've talked about it, they've absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, this thing's a beast. Like, that's the word that comes to mind when I'm using this thing, is that it's a beast. Like, it cuts through the wind like a knife, and it's super stable.
Yeah, so yeah, we've used this for the last 2 days, guys. So we know we've used it and we've abused it in high winds. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
so
we weren't going easy on it.
Yeah,
you may see some other reviews where they took it out and hover it around a little bit, but we took it out there and really put it to the test. I think we did anyway.
Yeah, I think so too. Mike, I want to thank you for this, and also thank DJI for lending us this unit so that we could really do some thorough testing. It really is an amazing aircraft.
Yeah, you guys are going to be happy with it. If you can afford it, you're not going to be let down.
If you can't afford it, get the Phantom 4 Pro. Like, we were using the Phantom 4 Pro to shoot this, and that thing is awesome. Yeah, Sport really mode, I was keeping up with you.
Yeah, and all those people who maybe can't afford it, I think there's going to be some Inspire 1s out there that are going to be for sale pretty soon for a low price.
Going cheap. So yeah, that's it, guys. We're going to make a wrap. We hope you found this review and our last 2 days of shooting and using this helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Mike.
Enjoyed it.
We're going to put Mike's website, Vimeo, Instagram, all your links down below.
MikeBishop.tv, check me out.
So be sure to follow Mike. Be sure to subscribe to us, guys. Like this video, give us a comment. Thanks for tuning in again. We'll see you guys on the next one.
All right, peace. Woo.